One of the best education systems in the country lies right here in Iowa. However, there are disparities within our own state. Rural students just don't have the same opportunities as anyone in the urban communities here. That's not fair. Rural students deserve the same opportunities as everyone else. One such opportunity I'm very passionate about is music. A recent study showed that IQ increased 9.7% over a period of 6 months after introducing music. Hi everyone, I'm Nicole. I went to Burlington High School and we were fortunate enough to have 3 music ed teachers in our department. Because of this, I developed a giant passion for music. I love music, and I ended up coming here to the University of Iowa to study education, and I got a full tuition scholarship for music. I wish every student had the opportunity that I did. So here's our problem. Rural school districts just don't have access to the same musical opportunities as urban school districts, or they're just unable to provide opportunities to their students. Our app, B Sharp, helps both teachers and students by providing interactive lessons and individualized instruction.
So we believe that we're unique in this. We're focusing on rural areas and providing that music education to underserved students. We believe that because we're bringing this at no upfront cost to these students, that we can be the first ones that they'd actually be able to take a chance on. And this will allow them to practice and receive instant feedback from the application, whether they did things correctly or not. Also, this is our home. We're an Iowa-based startup, and we want to go where the students need it the most. So B Sharp, our application here, a simple login screen, username and password. Then as a student, you come to your homepage here, you can see featured songs, Newton G. and Bach. You can purchase that as a one-time thing. There's a current song that someone's working on, Arpeggios in C. They've got a 25-note streak in there, just like you see in Guitar Hero. And then also their current lesson. You can see with the green notes that those are ones that they've hit, that the app has seen. But the red ones, they're having some trouble hitting those high notes. So that's something that the student can see and get feedback on instantly. Go to their practice screen, you can play, pass forward, rewind, and you can work on getting that song down. And it'll tell you how many notes you hit correctly and what sort of a note streak you're on. As a teacher, you'd be able to come onto this and see, there's We Will Rock You by Queen that's available, that you can then distribute that to your students. Speaking of students, James C. is there. He's doing all right. Who's that previous student that we saw? Bethany K, though, she's having some issues. She hasn't been doing any of her lessons. You can see that here in this application. But Curtis has been doing amazing. He's got really good high percentage of completion, doing some jazz really well. So you can see here with James again, teacher can see, well, he's having trouble reaching those high notes. That lets them plan for the next lesson of those limited resources of time that they can focus on one specific thing that the teacher already knows is an issue.
So let's talk about the competition. So one of our biggest competitors is this app called Tonestro. It's on the Apple Store, it's on the Google Play Store, right? This app is expensive. It is a $100 upfront charge if you want anything other than a single note. So if anybody can learn an instrument by a single note, this is an app for you, but not for me. Next, we have Smart Music. This product is expensive and it's also inconvenient. It's not on your phone. You can't put it in your pocket and take it with you. You have to have a laptop. And lastly, an instruction book. I mean, I grew up on instruction books, but man, if there was an app that I could just take with me anywhere, God, that'd be a lifesaver. And also, it doesn't have feedback. Like, you don't get any feedback with an instruction book. Our product is priced below that of our competitors. It's simple, it's easy to use, and it's affordable. Like, you can practice, you can learn so much without having any limitations and no cost.
So, as we said earlier, some of our competitors they do excel at some things. Instruction books are a good price, Tonestro's got some good feedback, but they don't hit that confluence of convenient and affordable. We'd like to try and hit that so that schools that don't have many resources can have something in their arsenal. So going back again to that problem, we have no upfront cost for the boring parts of just practicing. That would allow you as a school to utilize that little money that you have and little time that you have even further. Also, it's accessible. You only need a phone. Finally, it's fun for the kids. They can see on their phone themselves getting better as time goes on.
So let's talk about the target market. In Iowa, we have 327 total school districts. Rural school districts are about 2/3 of that. Imagine how many kids we aren't able to reach. Imagine how many kids don't get to come to the University of Iowa and study music. It's not even in their head. They don't even know about it. And if we're going to go larger scale on this, there's 137,000 plus public schools in the U.S. How many kids are not being reached? How many kids are not having the same opportunities that I had? So here's our growth plan. By year 5, we want to have around 7,500 downloads, okay? And so our paid users are subscription-based users, which will mostly be schools. We want to have about 5%, so 375 users, right? This will earn us around $36,000 in subscriptions. And also, with our ad revenue, we'll earn about $70,000. So, something to touch on with ads. This is an education app. If I opened up an app on my phone that was supposed to teach me something, I do not want to have something pop up in my face and tell me, buy this. No, I want to practice. So our ads are banners. They aren't going to interrupt your practicing. So this is our team. I'm Nicole. Hi, everyone. I'm I study music here at the university. I study pipe organ, and I also study education. And I'm really passionate about this, so I hope you guys are all too.
I'm Caleb. Questions?
So I really appreciate the mobile platform. I really appreciate that, especially the target market is rural school. There's a bunch of research on equity that talk about, there are some students that maybe the mobile phone is the only device that they have. So this is great. And I'm gathering that you're looking at a B2B model. You want to sell to school. So you talk a lot about the value prop for the student learning music. What's the value prop for the student? Like if the school is paying for it, what's in it for them?
So the school would be able to utilize their teachers more effectively. Instead of part of each interaction of the teacher and student being, okay, happy to practice, now let's get you up to speed. The teacher can see that beforehand with the application. They can see, okay, here's all of my students. Here's ones that have practiced above and beyond. Here's ones that have done what I've asked. Here's ones that are lagging behind. They can plan ahead, and they don't have to spend as much time getting things from ground zero. So the payback for them would be that they get more utilization out of the time that their teachers have, at concerts, times like that, when parents are able to see, this is what my kids have done. That would be your big payback.
It's really interesting. I agree with Ada that about 70% of Iowa schools are either rural or small town schools. I grew up in a tiny little school, 30 kids in my class. We had one band and one choir teacher for the whole entire high school. So I think there's a real need here. What I'm missing, though, is just to follow up on Ada's question is, I don't understand your business model. If you're selling this to schools, how do you generate the revenue based on that selling to school?
So there's two potential revenue streams here. One is the subscription basis. This allows you to access the back library of songs that we have for a monthly fee.
Is that the school?
That would be the teacher. So that would be the school that would be paying that.
Okay.
There's also one-time costs that you can do. So if you just want a specific song, you as the teacher or as the student can buy that specific song. So then that's a non-recurring thing, but it might be something that people who are willing to subscribe to a monthly fee would be willing to do.
Also, just like, does anybody in here want to learn an instrument? Ever in their life? Do you want to? Raise your hand. Yeah. If you're an individual and you want to learn the flute, get our app. Pay $8 a month. Like, it's not going to be some super expensive thing. It needs to be reasonable for people. Learn the flute. Learn an instrument. It's a life skill.
As you mentioned, all the boring parts are free. You want to do scales and arpeggios?
Yeah.
That's fine. You want to learn how to do something by Queen? Got one for that.
So I agree. I think there's a lot of value in providing this and providing that equitable access. So I like that model. One thing I was curious about for the rural focus is like, who did you talk to validate your idea? So like, what schools or individuals did you talk to? I mean, what was the
So actually, a member on our team, Sue, she has a similar type of business. Her PIV business is developed, and she's starting to become really successful with it, actually. And she provides therapy services for all the rural school districts. Not all of them yet, but it's a startup, right? And so she kind of sat down with me and she talked with me like there's a really big need for in all the rural school districts. She's like, I have gone out and like she showed me her website and I watched the video and there were people on it that are like, there's a need for therapy services, there's a need for music services. I mean, even art, you know, like all of these extracurricular activities that someone in Iowa City would have opportunity to do. Rural students, I mean, it's just brushed under the rug. You know, you need math and you need music. So.